How's everybody doing? Welcome back to Investor Army, guys. Today we're going to talk about should you or should you not get a hydrostatic plumbing test. Now, what is this in the first place? So essentially what they do is they take a little inflatable ball and they stuff up the main sewer line to see if the house is holding water. So if there's water in the toilet and it drops, there's a leak somewhere under the house, and this could be very, very expensive for you. If you replace the entire plumbing on a house, this could range from $10,000 to $20,000 depending on the size of the house, sometimes more, sometimes less. Now, it is just a couple $100 usually to get a hydrostatic plumbing test, but we know investors, they never want to pay for an inspection, they never want to get a plumbing test, they never want to do these things because it's money out of pocket. They just rationalize somehow pay the 10 grand later if it happens, right? So when should you do this, guys? There's certain times when I don't do this, and there's certain times I definitely do this. So I want to make sure that you're not getting yourself in a bad spot buying a house that's got a massive plumbing issue, because a lot of times, guys, if you ask the seller, is there a plumbing issue? They're going to say, of course not. Why would I lie to you? Because if they lie to you and you believe them, they're gonna make a lot of money. So how do you know a seller's lying, guys? Their lips are moving. They're always gonna deceive you. This is the only time they sell their house. They don't have a reputation like you do as a business owner to protect. If they get off and get one over on you, good for them, right? In their mind, that's how they think. A lot of people are dishonest. So the first one, trees. Okay, so if you come to a property, especially in a market where the soil moves a lot, like Texas or Mississippi, guys, where you have a lot of foundation issues, first thing you wanna look at are trees, right? So if there's tree branches hanging over the house or close to the house and it's a big tree, there are a lot of different tree species out there where the roots can go as far as the tree branches over the roof or twice as far, some of them I've heard. So if there's tree branches hanging over the roof and they're this big, what do you think's underneath the house? Pipes and branches. And branches can break pipes, right? So if you're ever having to do sewer cleanouts and you're pulling pieces of grass or roots out of there, guys, there's a good chance that you need to have some massive plumbing work done. So the first thing is, if there's trees and those trees are close to the property and they're big trees, go ahead and have a static plumbing test done. Number two, toilets. If you're going in the house and the toilets are not holding water, there's no water in the toilet, that's a good indicator that there's possibly a very, very bad plumbing issue under the house. Make sure to check this. Seller. Okay, this is something you need to ask the seller. Even though they lie most of the time, not all of them do. Ask them, have you had to scope the pipes lately? Have you had to send a snake down there? Have you pulled out, have you ever pulled out any grass or any roots? They're probably just gonna say, oh yeah, they're not even thinking about what they're saying. Have you ever had foundation issues on the house? Ask them a few probing questions. Have you ever had any plumbing issues? Have you ever had to replace any part of the cast iron plumbing before? Because if they say anything that could possibly lead you to have a belief that there could be a plumbing issue, go ahead and have that test done. It's just a few $100s, guys. Window separation. So guys, if you're going by the house may be level or it seems level, but if you're seeing separation around the window framing, what happens is that house is moving, right? And when a house moves, it can break pipes in their house, especially an older house, guys. Most cast iron plumbing doesn't last but for 50 years. Sometimes lasts longer, sometimes not as long. So that's another indicator I didn't put up there is age. If you know it's cast iron and it's getting up there 50 plus years, you should probably go ahead and have someone inspect it, which is probably why those people are selling the house in the first place. Is they got someone out there and had a big bill. They said, I'm not paying that, I'm just gonna sell the house and hopefully I can push my problem off on someone else. So if there's window separation, it's an indicator that there's movement in the house and the foundation's moving. And if the foundation's moving, it could potentially cause breaks in the pipe, especially if they're older and brittle and weak. Now sewage, if you're walking up to the property and it smells like a landfill and you don't know where it's coming, it just smells like sewage, you could have a massive issue under the house or in the water main, right? Something could be broken under there and that's where the smell could be coming from. Just think about that. If it smells bad, it probably is. Cracks in the wall or in the brick. So if you're seeing any cracks coming down the exterior brick on the side of the house or inside the house, if you're seeing cracks in the ceiling, cracks by the windows or cracks down the wall, that is an indicator of movement, and movement causes breaks in the plumbing if the pipes are weak. Or if it's just too much movement, it can just depress it, right? So think about that. And the last thing, guys, is if the house has been painted, right? It may have been rehabbed and leveled a few years ago, but guess what happens to houses that were leveled? They move back, right? Or they can move again because it's the soil or it's the climate or whatever's going on there, or the homeowner's just not taking care of the property right and watering it. So if the house is painted, one of the biggest reasons why people paint houses is not for aesthetics, it's to cover up that there's massive foundation issues and bad issues on the outside, and they had all these different mortar put in there and it didn't look good. And so instead of having a house look like it's got X's all over the place because they fixed all the mortar cracks, what they do is they paint it to cover up the problem. Just like someone putting makeup on, they're covering up the problem, right? So these are all good indicators that you should go ahead and spend a few $100s. Now, If some of these things are not on there, or you don't notice any things, guys, go for it, gamble it, probably not a big deal. And we'll probably put a video out here talking about if you should get an inspection or not, because a lot of people just waive the inspection when if they got the inspection, they can take the inspection back to the homeowner and say, hey, did you know there's termites? Did you know there's mold? I didn't know this when we first talked. What do you want to do about it now? Hope you liked today's video, guys. Go ahead and get that plumbing test done. It can save you tens of thousands of dollars over the course of your career if you're just doing this. I know you don't want to pull that money out front, but it's better than pulling a little out front than a lot out on the back. And if you have an issue, have a plumber go out there and show it to them. Show them the break under the house. Say, here's your pipes under the house. Here's the hole. Here's the broken pipes, right? It could help in your negotiations. I hope you liked today's video, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. I'll see you on the next one. Have a good day.